I started messaging that I curated that message set on Marine Drive, and then I opened Google, and then I was typing all the messages, just rechecking my grammar that I should not sound illiterate, and then I wrote a good message, and then I started sending it to all the people that know me, relatives, friends, everyone, and I just quoted that one counseling session for, let's say, 99 rupees. So I started sending these messages around 4 o'clock in the morning, till the time it was almost 8:30. I got some 3,000 rupees in the bank.
Thank you so much for joining me. You're a difficult person to get in touch with, but thankfully we have a rapport now and become friends also. So thanks once again for joining me on the podcast. So before we begin, of course, we'll start with a quick introduction for the viewers. So up to you now.
So I should look at the camera and then say it. Okay. So hello guys, my name is Pranit Shilimkar, aka Fitness Talks with Pranit. This is how I'm famous on Instagram and on YouTube. So I'm a professional coach. Also, along with it, I run one company called Fitness Talks, which is a complete online-based fitness platform where we consult people, and currently we are almost having 500 plus active members, and almost since 4 years we have transformed the lifestyle of almost let's say 5,000, 7,000 people around I think 7,000, but we have lost the count, so sorry, but yeah, that's how I would like to introduce myself.
Awesome. So that's a huge number, and that's very impressive. I'm really glad that you've kind of conquered that fitness, that era which everyone actually wanted it. Pandemic had just come, and I think you really took the right opportunity, grabbed it, and you made it something huge. Saying that, how did you get into this? Were you always a fitness freak? Was your physique always like this?
No. So I was an obese child, and when actually I passed my 10th standard, and then I started thinking about it. Okay, my entire childhood has let's say have a complete. Let's say I was always in this notion of thought that nobody notices me, right? And then because of my weight, because of the personality that I never had any personality. I was kind of an introvert kid, because I was an introvert kid because of my overall insecurities, and the biggest insecurity was that I'm obese. So that's why I never used to talk much, and then I decided to transform myself, and that's how I got introduced to the gymming culture. And since the start itself, I've had a good you can say inclination towards fitness or sports or something like this. So when I started actually exhausting myself in gym, I used to I used to feel good, and that kind of became my therapy. Also at that time, by God's grace, my father supported me to actually get a personal trainer for me, because he saw the consistency in me, and then by luck also I got a very good trainer who was actually training me, and then I got to know a lot of things about fitness from the scientific aspect. So that's where I got more interested in it, because I used to think that it is all about finally practicing what you have practiced through the years, and then you are just applying it, but there is a lot more science, and it keeps developing. Academically I wasn't that well at it, and that's why. And also I'm someone who had a little dyslexia, and still sometimes it kicks in. Sometimes I really find it difficult to tie my shoelace also. So but now it has got okay. But that's the reason why I never had a good academical numbers, and I was a lot more into, let's say, being practical. Like if I'm able to see something, I'm able to grasp fast and execute fast. So my picturization memories was good. So and this particular profession actually came in as a blessing, and whatever I started learning over there, I started implementing it on myself, and then I started getting confidence after I did my personal training and nutrition courses. Then automatically I started getting this confidence also that okay, I will think about my academical career, but this is something that I definitely want to do, and that is how I started entire journey.
So probably you were around 17, 18 years old when you finally got into, working out and everything.
Right. So at the age of 17, I started taking spinning classes, that is indoor cycling.
Yeah.
And eventually, as it is, I was very good at dancing. I knew some beats, and then indoor cycling was all about me playing music and then making people actually sweat it out with music and something like that. So I started with that, but because my legal age was not fitting in, so I used to act like I'm someone's little brother, and then I'm just being there because I love music, and that's why I started training people indoor cycling for this indoor cycling sessions, and then I think I turned 18, and then I started taking personal trainings. I started as a trainee first, where the trainee kind of job was there. It's not there now, but I think it was in 2012 or 13. In 2013, there was a job called as trainee. Trainee means it's like you're supposed to be there. Yeah, you are supposed to be there on the floor, but you are you're observing senior trainers, and that used to happen very less. But the only part that was my job was to keep the clients' keys, the car keys, and then keep their towels with me. And then whenever the set is done, then I have to re-rack the plates, re-rack the dumbbells, and something like that.
So which gym was this?
I started from Endurance.
Okay.
That time Endurance was a pretty big name, and I think they had some 5 branches in all over Pune. All of the branches were very, very good, and I saw the potential over there, because I feel that जिस जिम के नीचे बहुत सारे cars लगते हैं, वहाँ पे perfect audience मिलेगा. The kind of people that they will pay for the gym membership and then personal training. Because earlier in those days, personal training was, let's say people used to call it as luxury, because it was like you have kept a servant.
I think even today, I think that notion still lasts. Not everyone goes for a physical trainer or a personal trainer, right?
I think that is happening in tier 2, tier 3 cities now. But in tier 1 cities now, I think personal trainers have started getting that respect, and kind of profession is getting very much appreciated, because the knowledge based, and then people's stories. Now almost fitness industry has become almost not just fitness industry, I think, but I was just going through some articles day before only. That time I got to know that the whey protein industry is 7,000 plus crores. So you can understand the fitness industry must be 5 times bigger than what it was when I was actually at the age of 18 or something, right? So then in current scenarios, people are taking personal training as a necessity.
Right? When even I started, gymming and working out, it was at an age where, of course, I didn't have a job, or even if I was working, I was an intern or a junior level somewhere. So affording a personal trainer was very difficult. And these type of luxuries, as you said, they weren't type of things where my mom would be like, "Ha, chal mi tula dete. I'll pay for your personal trainer." Mom, dad would be like, "Ye sab nahi karne ka hai." You go do your gym, neat kha, neat pee, and you'll be fine. But now, getting into a gym and not having a personal trainer, very difficult. It's very difficult to not have a personal trainer anymore.
Exactly. I also feel that the kind of problems that we had back in, let's say, 15 years back, if we take this industry as in 15 years back, people didn't have this many amount of pathologies, injuries, all the metabolic disorders, right? So mostly people will come up with the high sugar, blood pressure, and let's say thyroid problem maximum. But currently metabolic disorders का count ही इतना बढ़ गया है That is one thing that people can't simply start on their own.
Correct.
Then if you see, there were no let's say a thing called as lawns, and then this box cricket where the tennis ground is there, and then we put the cement structure on the floor, and then we put this grass which is synthetic grass. Finally the shock absorption thing is not happening. So all these things were not there. People used to play gully cricket, and most of the people used to go on grounds and play. But because of these problems also, people have started injuring themselves a lot. So if you see, then the COVID and pandemic situation also happened. Then in those 2 to 3 years, people sat at home, and then they started having some back issues and neck issues. And now, let's say if we are training 10 people at least, so 8 people have some kind of injury or pathology or metabolic disorder. And that's where, whenever you are, let's say, physically not just unfit, but there is some, let's say, a medical help that you need along with so that's where you need a very good knowledgeable trainer who can understand the medical science of it, and then he can actually utilize his personal training into the way where he will be able to complement the process of you getting fit. So that's where it has become a little more necessity.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because now how it works is everyone, like, who's a personal trainer now, or at least a majority of them, before how it used to happen, they used to have like a set template ki ye exercises karne hai, aaj bicep, kal tricep, jaisa hota tha.
Right.
Nowadays, the fitness regimen for each person is very tailor made.
Yes.
हर सबका अलग अलग होता है. So how do you what's your process like? How do you make different fitness modules for each person?
Because again, same thing, the evolution in the fitness industry, and this is I think this is the fastest industry which upgrades itself. Okay, because there is, if you see, even if you type on Google that what's trending in fitness, you will see 10 different articles talking about some different scientific studies or something like that. So as a coach and let's say as a founder of Fitness Talks, we all have to, with my coach itself, so we all have to keep upgrading ourselves. Now the thing is, at that time when, again, it was like 15 years back, there were generalized workouts and generalized diet plans. Okay, and now we have started understanding that, okay, if you haven't checked the blood markers, right, and there is no blood report test has happened, right, so then the nutrition cannot be just generalized as it is, because someone might be having a sugar problems, right, and then his fasting sugar is already up, and then in the morning itself, if you are suggesting that person any kind of insulin spiking food, so automatically this affects him. So earlier the results used to come within, like, let's say 6 to 7 months. Now it has gone down to 3 to 2 months, right? So this is because of the science is getting developed. The trainer is getting perfectly, let's say, upgraded. So yeah, now this has started happening, that every body is different and everyone's metabolic rate is different. Then there are some pathologies, medical disorders, everything. So now we have started understanding the subjective, let's say, application of everything. Yeah.
So now when a new person comes to you saying ki, Pranit, I want to get into fitness now, I want a personal trainer, the whole thing, what is the process now? And how has it changed from what it was before? And tailored to you, of course.
Okay, so it's not that difficult as of now, because earlier there were only 1 or 2 academies, right? Now if you see, there are so many academies. So you can pick any academy. I think you just need to go and attend at least 2 to 3 sessions, and you must understand that whichever academy is giving you a perfect knowledge about anatomy, physiology and kinesiology. These 3 topics are covered, then you will be able to understand exercise science better, right? And then the nutrition science and nutrition aspect of it. Now there is a huge war between actually not counting calories, and there is a proper community of counting calories, right? So both ways, finally both types of coaches, if we consider the coach who actually doesn't count calories and just focuses on only and only eating right and wrong, and people who say that okay, just calories matter, and then if you want to drop down your fat, then you can go on to the deficit calories, and if you want to gain, then you have to increase the calories. Scientifically, both the approaches are perfect. Okay, but it depends, like whichever, also it depends, like whichever psychological, whichever thought process or school of thought that you connect with. Okay, you can pick that academy and you can simply start pursuing this as a career.
So now just rewinding back to now when you started, because I know you come from very humble beginnings, right? So how has it changed you now that you're famous? Everyone knows you in Pune. A fact that many people may not know is that you probably never even thought of owning a BMW one day, and that dream came true for you. How has your life changed?
So I think the efforts have been the same, okay, which were there from the start. Like now I will complete minimum 10 years of personal training, right? So I think the only thing that has changed is the way I mold myself faster, okay, according to situations, and let's say I believe into making more mistakes. Okay, so I believe in actually the person who's hungry to do mistakes is the person who gets fastest knowledge, and that's why I think it always worked for me. I was the first one to jump into anything which sounds good to me. Okay, and then मतलब गलत है सही है वो सोचा जाएगा, लेकिन करना तो पहली बात है. So this is the attitude which has always been with me, and I was actually traveling to Mumbai and taking. I used to take all the Marathi celebrities trainings at that time before pandemic.
Okay.
And then before pandemic and before I started into Marathi celebrity training, I used to be a freelancer. Then that's why my job allowed me to actually travel between two cities. So I used to travel Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to Mumbai, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday to Pune. So 3 days I used to work with the people which are taking personal training from me, and then again come back and then train Pune's people. Okay, so this is how it started, and because I think I was pretty good at it, so my name started going up and up and up, and because of too much of word of mouth, I started getting some Marathi celebrities, and that's where I felt like okay, things have started happening. The real game changed when the COVID hit us. And then I was also, just like everyone, I was also very much into let's say stress that how will I now do it, because my job needs me to be in person, and I am someone who doesn't believe in actually giving a generalized tips. I totally believe in giving one-on-one training, one-on-one personal touch. That personal touch is very much important because these are my expertise, right? So I started thinking about developing a skill set which will allow me to take personal trainings and nutrition counselings online. And somehow that time I had some 2 or 3 people with me who were same, the nutritionist and coaches. I had a meeting with them, and then I told them that this is what we need to do now, because it has stopped completely. Because if we are not able to travel, then how are we going to actually train people and get more clients, right? So then we decided to turn the business model into the online model, and it was a perfect time. People actually started getting let's say little fatter on the side, and then automatically I started getting more inquiries, and then I changed the industry. Now it was allowing me to not to be just restricted towards Marathi industry, Marathi celebrities. I was like DMing some influencers and content creators which are sitting in Delhi and Bangalore and Pune and Mumbai, wherever I will find any account. And that's how I got my first content creator. Okay, and then the journey started, because and the first content creator I got who was from Delhi.
Okay.
So because of him, I got all the Delhi content creators, all of them. Within a span of like 2 months, people started thinking that I am from Delhi. Okay, and this is how the journey started. And because Delhi creator has that kind of influence over on Mumbai creators also. This happens. Okay, that okay, सब लोग ही कर रहे तो मतलब Mumbai creators also started getting little interested, and that's how they also inquired about us. And then automatically I got Mumbai, so I covered Mumbai. So in the morning I used to train all the Delhi creators. Then in the evenings all the Mumbai creators used to train with me, and that's how I started spreading the brand and the name and everything. And because they had massive amount of followings, and when they were actually posting stories continuously, that's where I started getting more leads and more leads and more leads. And that's how I think let's say from the 5 people team, now it has gone up to almost 75 people team. So that's the journey.
So you mentioned that you were a freelancer before and you used to go to Mumbai and Pune. Because I know you and because we have mutual friends, I know that there's a very specific story you have about going to Mumbai once.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you to share that story with the viewers.
Okay, so just one fine day I decided to go to the Mumbai, and then I had a pretty hectic schedule. So I decided to have like 5 to 6 meetings. And I did all those meetings, and while coming back, I got to know that the fuel tank is empty of my car, and I didn't have money because I spent it on Starbucks because I wanted that kind of clientele, so I used to take them to the Starbucks. And so I didn't have money. And then also I was at that time also I was taking care of some let's say I was responsible person to run my own house also. So there was no chance I will ask someone money. So then I stopped my car, and then quite like fortunately I was close by Marine Drive, so I parked my car over there, and then I sat on the Marine Drive. Then I had some 150 rupees, so एक 50 रुपए की चंपी कर ली, पहला दिमाग ठंडा कर लेते. And then I had some 2-3 vada pavs, one or two. And then I kept on thinking about it, like how will I go back, because I have to, and I don't have money. And because you are pushed into such kind of situation where when you have no option, okay, I think that's where maybe your mind gives you this freedom of breaking the barriers, right? And whatever you think that those were your limitations, you just explode it in it, because you have nothing to lose now. What will you do? So I started this online consultancy session. I thought about what if I give people let's say a 7-day challenge, right? And I will train them for free, right? And then I will make sure that they will get some results. And for the first counseling session, I kept a rupees of 99 rupees. And then I started messaging that. I curated that message set on Marine Drive, and then I opened Google, and then I was typing all the messages, just rechecking my grammar, that I should not sound illiterate. And then I wrote a good message, and then I started sending it to all the people that know me, relatives, friends, everyone. And I just quoted that one counseling session for, let's say, 99 rupees. So I started sending these messages around 4 o'clock in the morning, till the time it was almost 8:30. I got some 3,000 rupees in the bank. And I was like, okay, this works, right? And then somehow I filled the petrol in my car and I came back to Pune. And it was quite a cheap deal, because that time also I was charging somewhat around 15,000 rupees per month as a personal trainer. It was a high amount, so it was kind of egoistic thing for me to not to break my rates. But my bank account is broke, so how can I simply not break my ego? And that's how it took me to take that step. and after that scenario, after that scene, I have been always fearless. So yeah, it was a great night at Marine Drive.
Absolutely
Yeah.
inspiring story.
Thank you.
And yeah, that's why I brought it up, because I think everyone needs to understand the importance of, the universe breaking you down part by part.
Yeah.
Some people are not able to handle that stress and pressure and maybe get into wrong things.
Yes.
But there's a group of people who've made brilliant changes in their lives.
Yeah.
Of course, you being one. And I mean, a 4-hour window where you were sitting having a vada pav and getting a champi, and then you wake up in the morning to 3,000 rupees in your bank and a way home. I mean, if the viewers don't find this inspiring, it's very difficult, right? But thank you for sharing this story. It's a wonderful story. And now everything kind of makes sense, right? So that resilience that you showed in your life that night, I think that has kind of flooded into how you do things every single day, right? So how has that changed you as a person, that one night?
That's what, like I said, it made me fearless. It made me, let's say we have this preconceived notion of if I put a message to this guy and tell them about my business idea, what will they will think? Am I sounding too cheap or desperate or something like that? All these barriers, all these self-doubts are just there. Okay, and I have seen it in many people, because almost in this 75 people's team also I see all these self-doubts only. The problem is people are planning a lot but execution is zero. So that is one thing that I have got from that night, that before even you like start thinking, start acting first, and then automatically it starts happening. Okay, unless and until you jump, you are not going to understand the depth of the water. So that's what I think have changed. So I've become little more fearless, and I'm always hungry for mistakes, because success is a byproduct. So just do mistakes, and I'm doing some 1,000 mistakes per month. Like if we count my earnings against the kind of mistakes I'm doing, okay, the amount of mistakes that I'm doing, because now I don't have that much amount of time, so I put money in it. Okay, so the lost amount is way more bigger than what I am. So yeah, that's the thing.
Marine Drive to where you are now. But in the middle, you became a content creator as well. And that's a fun topic I want to actually talk about. How did you get into content creating? And I'll be honest with you, I never used to watch your reels. I had never met you before. I just heard about you. And everyone during the pandemic and even after the pandemic, like, "Ye Pranit pata hai kya, kaun hai?" I'm like, "Nahin." And I usually was not the type of person to check out influencers and content creators. But I very recently, around I think last year, when I started working out again, I started seeing your reels, and it actually made me laugh. It was actually something out of the blue that you were doing, and it's just like, "Ye kaise sochta hai bhai ye?" How did you get into it?
So first thing first was I was very much fed up of actually doing back-to-back collaborations, and the only thing that I used to expect from any content creator or any celebrity was to give me a time and consistency, right? So most amount of times this has happened that someone has got on board, and then that person had like a erratic work schedule, a shoot schedule, and they got some emergency meetings or some emergency shoots, and that's why they are flying for 15 days. So what used to happen is the amount of leads which I used to get as for my team, okay, I wasn't able to produce this much amount of leads. So then I started thinking about it ki, okay, why do I need content creators? What if I started becoming one? Because also I hated not hated, but somewhere it doesn't sound good to me as a, let's say, a term called as a celebrity trainer. Okay, I've asked so many PR agencies and all the media houses to please remove that name. But yeah, it is okay, but finally people have that kind of, let's say, it is appreciated. So fine.
But there are two ways to think about it, right?
Yeah.
Celebrity. Either
Yeah.
you are a celebrity who is training, or you are a
Exactly.
trainer who is training
Exactly.
celebrities.
Exactly. So then I started thinking about it. Okay, what if I start coming up with my own content? So then I tried so many things. By the way, one thing as I was noticing was content creators are promoting brands. Okay, and I immediately thought about it that okay, I have made a good brand. Like people know about my brand, but then if content creators are taking money to promote the brand, right? I've created a brand, and why not to actually become own
Brand ambassador.
brand ambassador, and you start promoting your content and you start promoting your business. Okay, and this is how it started. I started with a lot many things. First of all, I created this name Fitness Talks with Pranit. So I wanted to actually have such kind of podcasts only, and the content was all about just talk about fitness, because there were only two things which I was good at, which I feel, and I'm still good at. That is fitness and talking and speaking, right? And that's why this name combined. And then I posted that first piece of content, and it didn't work. People were not that much interested in terms of taking information, because at that time people like me who were actually sharing the knowledge were into thousands. Okay, and there were so many successful YouTube channels, and I used to like their content because I used to connect with their school of thought. So what am I creating extra? Nothing. And that's where I got to know. And the problem is, once you start creating a very very niche and subjective content, the problem is the kind of people who are interested in it. To reach out to these people, the filterization process is too big. Okay, like let's say now you want to talk about a spondylosis. Now why will any heart patient will watch your video?
Absolutely.
Okay, because he doesn't connect with it. So that's the problem. So that's where I started thinking about it. Okay, entertainment is something which can be a wrapper for my chocolate, and the chocolate that I want to feed in is fitness. So the theme will be fitness, and the entertainment will be the wrapper of that chocolate, and I have to make this wrapper very aesthetically looking good, so people will have it, and once they are chewing the chocolate, they will understand that okay, this is stupid that I do. These are the stupid things that I do. But it was good reminder for me. Thank you. So kind of that kind of content generation I started making. And once I started getting into entertainment sector, then I got to know that okay, I'm a bad actor, and I'm not able to act there. Like I still remember my first time in front of the camera. I still remember I took almost some 89 to 90 takes just to say a single line, and so this is how it started. And but somehow I made it. The only thing is, I feel that when it comes to, people say that nothing is impossible, right? I do believe in it. If you put your heart, mind, soul in it, and then you start being obsessed about it, you automatically start acting also like that. So then I started actually being with all the funny content creators. And at that time only I was training Just Neil Things, right? And he is someone who's not just funny, but who have got a very good let's say sense of direction, sense of humor. Okay, and then I started watching his process. Like there were no shoots of mine, but I used to just be there while he is shooting, right? And then I got to know the process, that okay, this is where the humor comes in. Because I used to be a funny person, but while talking to you, being funny and creating that fun and moment through a content piece, it's a very difficult task. बोलने में फनी लग सकता है बंदा, लेकिन उसको ही कंटेंट में बनाने जाए तो बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता है, बिकॉज यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड पीपल्स साइकोलॉजी, that what is the peaking point, what is that point where people will laugh on it so loud. So I struggled a lot. It's not like my first reel was like hitting millions, but then eventually I started understanding the acting skills. Then I started understanding, okay, it's not just about acting, it is about the concept. Okay, then I started thinking about the concepts a lot, because, and then the third part is the writing and the direction side. So again, that thing came as a challenge. So I'm still evolving as a content creator. Every time it's just very, very difficult to create content on a different let's say topics, and also connect these topics to fitness, because वो fitness के कटघरे में ही रह के मुझे content बनाना पड़ता है. So I cannot post, like I can post 1 or 2 personal contents with my wife or something like that, but finally I have to eventually come down to one simple fact, that is I have to create content which is related to fitness. So that becomes difficult.
Important thing is getting that message out.
Yes.
How you do it, I think that's where the creativity.
Exactly. So yeah, that is how it's going on.
What was the feeling like when that one reel hit 1 million views? How was it?
It was stupid. It was. See, people, like whoever is there in content world, people say that it's not a number game. But yes, number do excite you. Absolutely. Because it is a eventual, let's say a parameter of your success, right? So when you hit good numbers, just like today only, I was struggling for almost last 3 to 4 reels didn't work, and I was just trying to think about it, like what is going wrong, because anyhow, and see, you have to be a let's say devil's advocate as a content creator also, because then you have to go through dig down into yourself and think about it, and this was not funny. Okay, you think that was funny, but it is not that funny. And then the problem which is there is, like, we love our work so much that we start actually talking about algorithm and then put all the blame on the algorithm. But when I know personally that this is the piece of content which will go viral, and let's say when that goes viral, then automatically algorithms वगैरह ये बीच में आते ही नहीं है, directly ऐसा आता कि this is what it was. So yeah,
so fighting the
algorithm, I would say अगर content में दम है तो algorithm beat करेगा.
But I think it's a little bit more difficult on YouTube to beat the algorithm, right? Like how does it work?
YouTube doesn't actually, you can say, give you that much. So YouTube doesn't care about the content में दम है ज़्यादा या नहीं है.
Okay.
YouTube only asks you about the consistency. If you are being consistent, okay. Now see, I started posting Instagram reels 1 year prior YouTube.
Okay.
When I started posting shorts on YouTube or vlogs on YouTube, my total number of subscribers are much more higher than Instagram. So that is one thing that I have understood, that it's not about the theme or the concept or something like that. YouTube doesn't put that much amount of focus on cutting you on algorithms. YouTube only focuses on the consistency. Okay, because story needs to get built perfectly. People will not love your videos within like 4 or 5 videos. You have to keep creating it. It's a slow journey. It's like, I can say it is very natural journey. Just like if you become a doctor, okay, you can't suddenly simply get famous just because of your one surgery, right? It can be a fluke. Something like that. So the word of mouth happens, and then this doctor becomes a number 1 doctor in the city, on the area. Why it happens? Because he treated so many patients every goddamn day, and he was so consistent at treating patients, and patients were getting results, and that's why patients were talking about that particular doctor to each other. And that's how it happens, because you will never open an YouTube and you will see your own video playing. It's not gonna happen. People need to type your name and they come to your profile, right? So this particular system has, let's say, more natural effect than Instagram, because people who are interested in my content, they are the ones who are going to come to my channel. Okay, if that content is running well, okay, then YouTube takes this, okay, chal, tera mehnat hai, तो तुझे थोड़ा पुश करता हूँ. That's the only thing.
Wow, okay. I've now just started seeing that little spike coming in and the newer viewers.
You are doing pretty good. I saw the entire channel. Okay, the kind of views that you are getting is the same kind of views that I'm getting. Imagine.
Wow, okay.
The amount of views which I have for my last vlog and you have is the same.
Oh wow.
So you are creating a very very good podcast, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
very nice. I like you, I also hope to be a better content creator. Because like you, I'm also a humorous and funny person.
Yeah.
But like you said, putting that and converting that into content isn't always easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a journey for me as well. It's going well so far.
Yeah. See, on Instagram you can expect anyone to become a star within 2 reels. Within 2 reels. One reel.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just going viral and viral and viral and viral and viral. That's okay. But that one reel just blasted because people saw this.
Connected to it.
But as a content creator, if you really have a goal of becoming a content creator and just one reel is blasted, then you have to have like a huge pressure on you so that what's gonna come next.
Yeah.
Because ये तो फ्लूक में निकल गया, तो कैसे रिटेन करेगा वो फॉलोअर्स जो आएंगे उनको कैसे रिटेन करेगा. So that's the main challenge which YouTube doesn't give you that.
Yes.
YouTube will make you slog your ass for so much amount of time, and then this story is created about you, and that's why people are coming back to your channel. Yeah.
So now with fitness talks with Pranit and the entire gamut of things, what's the future? What are future plans for you?
See, of course I have to make some changes into my business right now. I think after 5 years, if I have started as an entrepreneur or then my business becomes 5 years old, that means itself I'm successfully turning into a businessman.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the era of my own startup where I have to turn it into a business now, and that's why we have to like let's say check some systems which were not running, and now we are starting to do some more things and be more creative with our services and quality. So there are 2-3 things. First of all, we are working on creating our own app. I know I'm very very late in terms of creating my own app, but I believe that I took so much amount of time because I really wanted to understand how a personal training, online personal training, the one-on-one touch, how it exactly can get executed. Because I have seen so many fitness startups, fitness coaches who started fitness training online, and then once they opened their app, the fitness startup turned into a tech startup.
Yeah.
Right, and then you're being less worried about the coach and the nutritionist, but you're worried about the engineer in your team. And then what if they leave? Okay, so I don't want it to happen with me, and that's why I took so much amount of time. Now we are working on the app. I think it will take more time because it is still not matching up to the perfection. So this is the first thing. Second thing is earlier it was client satisfaction, then it turned into a client obsession, right? And for me right now it has become the client extreme obsession. Okay, so for this extreme obsession, what can I do exactly? Because I'm sitting here and my team is sitting here in Pune, and not just entire team but the management team, the headquarters in Pune, but all over the trainers are all over sitting in India. How will I make sure that the person who's actually staying in US also gets that much amount of attention, that care, okay, and how many services we can simply develop. So there are so many things which are there in future, and through the content side I will just try my best to hit as soon as 1 million followers, because I think once you start the journey, at least till the time you hit 1 million you haven't created any market. It's just you have to have an impact. Okay, so as of now these are the goals, that hit 1 million as soon as possible, and then there will be a too much fun to actually create my own advertisers for my own brand. If you come back to my channel and see on my Instagram, I don't post anything about my own brand. I post it on stories.
Yeah.
I'm very much serious into my stories, but the content is very, very funny.
Yeah.
So that's the overall economical system that I'm setting out. That you watch my reels, it sounded funny, it felt funny, you started following me, then you get to know that okay, I'm just not a content creator, I'm a founder of one fitness startup, and then they get interested in this 37-day challenge, and that's where they let's say inquire about it. So it's not just getting the follower, getting that follower, cooking them to turn into right a proper warm lead, and then making them hit that query ka link, and that's where they get converted. So this is the economical side that we are building in.
I think it fit exactly into what you just did. The only thing I would say, I didn't click on anything. I know you personally, that's why I came to you and said मेरे को भी करने का है अभी 37-day challenge.
So earlier my business was completely dependent on content creators in terms of getting leads. It was 80% content creators and 20% used to generate from my own content. Now, since the time I have become content creator and now my reels are going on very well. So this particular ratio, which was 80-20, now have gone up to me being at 60-65%. I am creating my own leads, and then other leads are coming from the content generation or content creators. So there is less load on my marketing team.
Correct.
And the entire load is on me.
I think that will always be there.
Yeah, it will be.
Million subscribers.
Exactly. It's just the start. I always tell myself it's just a start. So even if any biggest achievement happens, I tell myself the same thing. It's just a start. And even if I hit any low kind of situation, then it's just a start. Because कल परसों मैंने और एक बहुत अच्छा कोट पढ़ा था कि बहुत कुछ बिगड़ेगा सही होने से पहले, and it's so true, and I immediately felt that because I am at that situation right now, that everything is just falling down. Whatever I'm trying to build, it's just falling down. But I know that if I stop making mistakes, it's not gonna give me the answer, because I have to keep trying, I have to keep failing. So that's the goal.
It's been a lovely conversation and absolutely inspiring. Your story is something that your story is actually what made me want to look into you more. And as soon as I heard your story, I started looking at your reels and then understanding what it is. So as we finish off, I'd really love to say thank you for sharing all of your stories and your content creator wisdom with me. I hope to take this conversation offline and get many suggestions from you as well.
Yes, for sure.
So thank you, Pranit, and hope to see you soon.